Hello. Oh, wow. Was that my echo or was that you? Or was you just doing a little echo behind my hello?
I gave you like a little like, yeah, go for it.
I was like, oh my God, I can hear my own voice coming back to me. But I sound better in the echo. Like, what? That was you.
No.
Welcome to the Mother Days, guys. I've been scoffing an avocado toast. We just did back-to-back recordings.
Yes, and Teresa is getting ready because she's about to leave to go back to well, first you're going to Canada and then you're going to go to Australia, right? So
I almost overstayed my tourist visa. I know, very close. I'm literally leaving. If my flight gets delayed and I don't get on the plane tomorrow, like I probably will never be allowed back to America. So I got to leave tomorrow.
That's not your fault. Come on, America.
I know. Well, it kind of is because I literally left on the last day of my visa.
Wow.
And I'm sure people are like, wait, she's married to an American. Yes, but I don't have a green card. I come in on tourist visas. It's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm getting a green card. Blah, 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 blah.
It's going to be great.
How are you, my girl?
So good. Tired, a little tired today. I think the last, we're at the last, so right now where I am currently, not when this episode is coming out, but it's been Labor Day weekend. It's the last few days before school starts for us. And we've just really been living it up on the beach, activities, all the things. So I'm a bit tired actually. And then school starts tomorrow. So I'm feel bad for the kids because I'm they're probably really tired too.
Oh my God. And then they're back to school and it's into all the school stuff.
I know.
And the pickups and the after school activities and the getting them ready in the morning, getting them to school. Oh my gosh.
I think that's going to be maybe the hardest part is getting up earlier than what we've been doing because it's been a little bit we have a routine for sure, as a family. We get up in the morning and we do a workout and we make breakfast and, we sauna and things like that. And, the kids have their to-dos in the morning, part of the community and all of that. But it's just all going to have to shift an hour earlier. So I think that's going to be, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, in the morning. We'll see.
I would always have to, because I'm opposite to Mark. I hate being late. I cannot handle it. And so the only way in Adelaide to get them to school on time is to have all 4 bags packed by the door the night before. I've made the lunches the night before. All I have to do in the morning is put lunches in. Water bottles are already in. Library books already in, whatever it is that they need for the next day. So all I have to do in the morning is get them out of bed. I lay out the 3 kids' uniforms on the floor. So they get up and then it's on the carpet. Okay, everyone just puts it on. And all I tell them is just get up and put your clothes on. That is all you have to do. When you come out to the kitchen, I'll make breakfast because it was just the rush in the morning. Sets me up for failure for the rest of the day when I'm go, 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 quick, quick, quick. We're going to be late. Oh my gosh, we got to be in the car in 5 minutes. And then someone's I haven't brushed my teeth yet. I don't like these sneakers. Yesterday I stepped in dog poo as you're going out the door and you're
what?
What is happening? Why every morning is there some snafu? Something happens that means we're getting in the car late. I now say we have to get in the car at 7:45, even though technically we could get in the car at 7:55. But I'm 7:45, we got to be out the gate, driving down towards the school because I just can't. I can't start my day with stress.
Yeah. Well, we have to be at school at 7:45. So that. Yeah, we have to be, the kids have to be they have to be there between 7:45 and 7:55. So that's why our day has to start so early. I mean, truly, I kind of like time change where it like falls back, because then it's like a whole hour earlier. So it's like, you know, I'm actually like 5:30 is when I'm waking up. So then it gives us like more time in the morning. But yeah, I mean, the morning routine is like different for everyone. And it's also hard, you know, if you're making breakfast, like, I know like your Lovewell smoothies are such a great thing to like throw into the blender for a breakfast in the morning, because you know you're getting all your nutrients. It's delicious. You're like, it's chocolate. And they're like, what? Yes, chocolate smoothie. You know,
it's fast. It's easy. You got frozen bananas. You chuck it in. It's so good. And also, if you spoon in 2 tablespoons of almond butter, that's upping the calories even more. So they stay full longer. The worst is when the kids will try and ask for cereal in the morning. Yeah. And you're like, you can't do that. You're going to be hungry in about 5 minutes. So the best thing to do is to like come out and make a smoothie. Then they're really full. If they want anything else, it's like I would add oatmeal on top of that. And then that really lasts them to recess.
Yeah, that's really good.
But my kids, I don't know if your kids do this. We have, all the kids are different, but we have a couple of our kids will be so busy playing in the morning for recess and lunch.
At school. Yeah.
At school for recess and lunch that they don't eat all their food. And it's become such an annoying thing to get the lunchbox back. And then Bodhi will be like, well, we didn't have enough time because then we started soccer and I just didn't have. So that's way, if you actually start the day and I know they're getting a really good hit of nutrients and I know that that's in there. Whatever happens at school, like, yes, it's a bonus if they eat their lunch and their recess. And I'm sure they'll just go straight to the snacky things as opposed to like the sandwich that I spent 30 minutes making beautiful. Like, as long as I know that they have that sustenance to keep them and drive that energy up throughout the day, then we're good. Then we're good.
Have you ever tried turning them into like chocolate pops, like doing like, because I love those like popsicle molds. And so if you like blend it with almond butter or peanut butter and then put it in the like popsicle modes, and then it's like the perfect after school snack, because my kids get home and they're like so hungry, and then I like it to be kind of like a fun thing after school. So it's like a smoothie pop is like a fun thing for them to have. But I don't know. I saw this thing going around Instagram where people were talking about how like they had to change their evening to having dinner at like 4:45, 5 o'clock, because their kids were so hungry after school that it was like they would eat a big snack and then they wouldn't eat their dinner. And so
until later, and then bedtime's later. And then
and then we did that. We actually did that like years ago where, you know, we changed it to being like, I mean, 4:45 is like Eric's dream. If like he could be home for a 4:45 dinner, there's like nothing. Yeah. He like loves to fast. So like, you know, that dinner is perfect. It also does make you sleep really good when your body has had the time to process your food and everything, to digest before you go to bed. Because then you're not sitting there like full and your stomach's not like doing all this work. You sleep so much better and your kids sleep better.
I usually eat around, we usually eat around 6, later 6:30. And then I digest my food. And then I have my little nightcap before bed. I have my little dream, which is my company Lovewell has this beautiful sleepy time blend called Dream. And you froth it up so it's all creamy. But then I actually just sip on that. Like it's a decadent drink that I can sip on, and that's a little treat for me. So instead of having any kind of dessert, it's like, oh, I know I have that. It's really sweet. It's got passion flower and lemon balm in it and lavender. It's really gorgeous. So that's my kind of nighttime ritual. And people were asking us, Sarah and I, like, what are your rituals? Like, what's your morning routine and what's your nighttime routine? So that's definitely a part of it. And if I'm not up on my supplements, and if I'm not up in the morning and I'm having my Blossom and I'm having my Element and I'm having my Life bioavailable liquid oxygen, I feel like shit. I will get a slump around 3 p.m. every day where I'm like, it's it's too much. I have so many kids. I have so much going on. So many different areas of my life that I'm tending to. If I'm not making sure that I am filled up and healthy and living this nutrient dense life, then it's actually just not sustainable.
Well, I think also like so many moms, you know, talk about the depletion that you feel like when you're a mother and you're like running. I mean, even this morning, like I know this really well, is that I am supposed to be eating nourishing foods. I'm like drinking my herbs and I'm taking my supplements and, you know, all these things. I know that I'm supposed to be doing these things. And yet I can get so busy in the morning that I like have to leave really quick. And then I'm like, wait, did I eat? I know that I worked out. I know that I did this. But also, like, we are really depleted in minerals. And that's like the number one thing that I hear from, you know, the like chiropractors or like anybody that we bring on to talk about different like health and wellness things. We talk about like mineral deficiency, like being, you know, just like that dirt, that earth, you know. And
the modern day farming practices means that like our soil isn't like enriched with nutrients. You've got to dig deeper to get it. And we always talk about that at Lovewell because we have element, which is humic and fulvic acids.
Yeah.
But you got to dig so deep into the soil to get that nutrient dense soil again. But that's why so many people are feeling depleted is because of these modern day farming practices. Yeah,
and if you're sad. Like, you know, if it's warm out and you're running around and you're not drinking, like you can literally do yourself a favor and put some of that element or like humic and fulvic acid in your water bottle and it turns it looks black. So I always call it dirt water.
It tastes like nothing though. Dirt water, yeah. But it tastes like nothing. It tastes like nothing. But my kids will look at it and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, dirt water. And I'm like, but it doesn't taste like anything. Whoa. You know, it's like, but it's not earthy. It just tastes like water. I know. That's like the number one comment we get on the Lovewell Instagram. Like, what does that taste like? And I was like, I know what it looks like, but it doesn't taste like dirt. It literally has zero taste because you want something that's going to be incredibly healthy for you, but you don't want to have to try and stomach it or like drink something that tastes foul because then you just don't do it. You have to get into the habit of doing something. And if you're enjoying it or if it just tastes like water, it's definitely a higher chance that you're going to incorporate it in your daily routine. I'm very inspired by Sarah's beauty routine. You really take care of yourself. You use your masks. She even has that thing that always looks like, you know, a serial killer mask.
Yeah, the red light.
The red light that she uses on her skin. And I don't know, you probably don't get to do that every single day, but
I don't.
I wanted to ask you a question about that though. Having your own beauty products, having Baeo, to me, I always talk about how obsessed I am. I actually use it as a cleanser. So it can be both things. Like I'll use your balm to cleanse my face, but then the oil stays on there. How do you incorporate like your own company into your wellness routine?
Well, I love that you're talking about this because I put out a message today. You guys will remember this, but I put out a thing that was like, what do you guys want? What topics do you want to hear about? And this was like from multiple people, you know, they wanted to hear about beauty and skincare and things like that. And I kind of feel like we've all gravitated to this place of, it is kind of this moment for yourself. It's like this fun thing that I can do for myself. It makes me feel good. It also it feels like I'm doing something like really hydrating and healthy and good for my skin. And especially when you're talking about like organic, clean products, because
also less is more, like less ingredients. And you guys I feel like you were like so the pioneers of that. When Baeo first came out, it was like less ingredients. Why are we seeing things with 25 ingredients in something.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. Even products I think that would say like, we're clean. And then you look at the bottle and you're like, but why do we need 25 ingredients and also a fragrance and something
oil
that says that it's clean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so there's like an evolution happening with Baeo too right now, where we are, we want people to see us for who we've always been, which is a brand for the whole family. So it's such a clean product that you can use these products on your newborn baby, but you can also use them on yourself, and they work amazing for both. Like it's all skin, right? And yes, we need different things, but really, if you're just breaking it down to like nourishment for your skin, our Bare Butter, which is what Teresa's talking about, like I'll use that to take off my makeup because I'll put it all over my skin. Every time. And then a hot rag afterwards. And then just kind of like put that against my face and then wipe, and it, everything comes off because oil like takes everything off.
It does. And then you're not pulling and yanking these soft, delicate parts of your eyes with the regular makeup remover, where I'm always dragging my eyelids, and my eyelids are really like thin and delicate these days.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So I love using our like Bare Face, and I love using the Bare Butter, and we have some new products coming out that I've been using and testing over the summer that I'm really excited. I can't tell you what it is yet because, Tez, but Dazeys, stay tuned because it's so special and
it's exciting.
It's exciting. And it's kind of like this, we're growing up a little bit, which is really fun. But I feel really strongly that it's not just us. There's also other brands that I love and that I use that I feel like should be elevated and put on a pedestal too. So like I love brands like Osea.
I've been using a lot of Emma Lewisham in Australia as well.
Oh, I don't know her stuff.
Oh my God.
That's so cool.
I've got to send you some of it.
Okay. Amazing. And then there's this other brand you guys were asking about. There's this other brand called Ursa Major, and Ursa Major has this like golden glow, like mountain glow serum. So I really like using the serum as my base and then putting Bare Face under my eyes. If I have a sunburn or my kids have a sunburn, I'll put the Bare Face on the sunburn and I'll use like Bare Butter on there as well.
Which you guys probably get all the time living in Malibu and being on that beach every day of the summer. You get a lot.
We get a lot
of sun.
Yeah.
Oh, cute. Well, then we compare that with we are launching electrolytes at Lovewell. So it can be like all this hydration going on.
Yeah.
So we have electrolytes coming out, and we have protein powders in a couple of different flavors coming out as well. So Sarah and I are birthing new products from our own companies, which is exciting. And they really complement each other. I'm like, we got to do the summer bundle.
Yes.
Like for the sunburn
we should do that.
and the hydration. And we should do a summer bundle.
So good.
That's a good idea.
We'll do that, you guys. Wait, I have to tell you my other two. So for makeup, because I don't really use a lot of makeup, but I like a tinted moisturizer, and I use Iris and Romeo's Best Skin Ever. They have like this Weekend Skin, I think it's called. I think we got one for you, Tez. Have you tried it yet? It's
I've got the mascara with my name on it, by the way.
Yes, and they have great mascara. And then I also really love Ilia products as well. ILIA. They have really good stuff. And everything, all of those companies that I mentioned, they're all clean and women owned, which is really cool. And then Osea, we had Jennifer Palmer on, but that company, like, what a legend. Oh my gosh. They're just the stuff that they've done brilliant. Is amazing. So brilliant. But yeah, I kind of feel like that skincare, self-care, that time, for yourself. It's also like self-love, you're like taking time to do something for you. And then you leave going, all I have on my skin is like a little bit of oil or a little bit of balm, and it just feels so good. And I feel so hydrated. And like,
I love doing the whole package. I love like having my supplements, like nourishing myself from the inside, and then on the outside, like putting my topicals on and put my Bare butter on, the Bare face. We got, that lip balm is unbelievable that Bodhi doesn't literally go anywhere without. And it's so annoying because
Thank you.
He left it in the house the other day.
Oh God.
And we were running late for something, which, is my pet peeve.
Yes.
And he was like,
I know
I'm
that.
going to get my lip balm.
I'm like, do I have one right here?
I think you're going to be okay without your lip balm for 2 hours. And we were driving out the driveway and he ran back inside and went and got it. And I was like, oh my God, Bodhi, he's really addicted.
That's
I think
amazing.
because he's been so scarred by, remember when he had that when his lips get dry, they go insane. Like that boy, it's nuts. Yeah. So that's a part of our beauty and wellness routine. Yeah. And like Sarah said, honestly, how can we meet the needs of all these children and show up and be business women and company owners and do all that? We are spread so thin in so many different areas. Like, how can we actually show up and be our 100% best selves without taking care of our own selves? It's just not workable. And like I said earlier, it's not sustainable. Like, maybe you can run on the adrenaline for a couple of weeks. Like, it's not a long-term solution. We have to carve out time for ourselves. And that might look different to you. To me, it is having my Lovewell supplements, doing my beauty regimen, using my Baeo, having my bath, have a little bath, we had a guest, James Digan, on talking about these exercise snacks. If you don't have time to do a full hour of exercise, but you can get a few different moments in the day where you're doing a 10-minute pop of exercise, fantastic. Yeah, and all those things make me a better mom. Like, I'm just a better mom. I'm a better partner because I'm nurturing myself.
Do you know what's something that goes along with that? So we've been having a lot of conversations around community, and, we love you, Dazeys, and like this community. Someone was just writing me that we should do like a social chat, and there's some new feature on Instagram that I have to figure out where I can like put all the Dazeys together so that they can like, communicate with each other. So
wait,
I got to figure that out. I will work on that. But
she's our tech savvy gal.
But I'm
the opposite to that.
Something I'm going to miss, which thank God we have this podcast so we can continue connecting with each other and everyone. But we've been having so many hangouts together, Teresa and I, and our families, and then breaking off and like doing something just the two of us. And then, going to like a women's gathering. We went to this amazing cacao ceremony. But we've been doing all these things that have sort of continuously put us into this place of like support and community and lifting each other up. And I think that's also a big part of like taking care of yourself and self-care and like listening to your needs and stuff too, is just surrounding yourself with people who you really love and value everything that they're putting out into the world. And you're also just, you feel, it's that thing that we were talking about last year where you leave the day or the conversation or the situation feeling like almost like electrified in a way, or just filled up or beaming with love. I love
that word. Yeah. Like electric, feeling electric. That's really, that was, we had this really profound cacao experience, which I'd never really done anything like that before. I have friends who've microdosed like mushrooms and whatnot. And I've always been really open to it and kind of intrigued, like, ooh, curious. But I'm also terrified of drugs and anything that alters me, like the psychosis.
Same.
Like I have big feelings surrounding that stuff because of my mum's experience. I get so nervous that I'll take the wrong thing and then I'll never return back to myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, this is some cacao. Like, I think I'm good here. But it was transformative. And whether it was the actual cacao or the facilitator who was walking around really talking to us and having us do breath work, which by the way, is extremely challenging. Like the breathing from the tummy, then the chest, then out, tummy, chest, out, tummy, chest. Like having to do that, it was like it was like a exercise. Like I was really working out. Yeah. And I kept fighting, wanting to stop and just to breathe normally. I was like, I want this bit to be over. Yeah. But it makes you get really deep. And I think for me in the cacao experience, I was feeling the collective energy of this group. I could hear women. We were all lying down. We had our feet in the middle. We'll post some photos when this comes out because we've got some really beautiful photos from the day. We did? Yeah. I'm on a thread with Amber and like people just dropped photos. I'll have to send it
Oh my gosh, amazing.
There's so many great photos.
Phone out. I love that.
And neither did I, but some people did. So
amazing.
Anyway, it was like everyone had their feet in the middle in a circle. Everyone was lying down. It was like petals and music and all the senses were alive. It was like smells. And then we were out in nature under this big, big tree, which is the oldest tree in the canyon in Laurel Canyon, and just felt like this wise Mother Earth tree. And I was like, wow, this is the most beautiful, magical space to all come together and lift each other up energetically. And I was saying to Sarah, which is funny that this happened because the podcast we recorded right before this was with my husband, Mark, and our friend, James Daikin, and they were talking about like the idea of being infinite. And that's what was coming to me. I was going to this deep meditative state and I was seeing the infinity sign just over and over. I was dancing to it. Like I was swaying my body and I was just feeling the infinity and the energy of the group. And I could hear people quietly crying and people going through their experiences. And it was so visceral. And Sarah and I talked about this, but we both had the same experience, which is pretty wild. The face of each of my children came really big into my mind's eye, and I kissed each of them on their eyelids. Like I kissed, like little Prairie's face came up with a cheeky grin, and then Poet with her little cute dimples down on her chin, and I like gave her little kisses on her eyes, and then Forrest's face came up with his like gap teeth, and then Bodhi with his little scar on his lip, and his like twinkling sparkly eyes. It was so real. And then I was picturing these two little newborn babies, and I was like, are these my future babies? And I was kissing their little feet and their little hands. And actually thematically, a lot of the women at the circle, we were talking about motherhood and the longing for motherhood. And many of us have experienced losses in the group. And it was really this profound healing energy. And I really recommend, if you can tap into a community of people working in this kind of space, whether it's breath work or meditation, cacao ceremonies, or whatever it is, just being open to trying something new. I'm so glad each and every one of us said yes. And lots of us have never done a cacao ceremony before. We didn't know what to expect, but we all jumped in with the yes and mentality, and it had a profound impact.
Yes. Yeah, you're so right. I had a really similar experience to Tez, where I saw like the faces of my kids, and the breath work was hard. I found it to be really hard. Like I kept feeling like it was hard to breathe the way she was asking us to breathe. So it was like this, double breath and then out and quickly. And I just kept feeling like, but wait, I can't breathe as long as she's asking, or like in as fast. And like, I just kept thinking like, it's not working, or like, it doesn't feel like I have enough breath. My breath feels shallow and like whatever. And then the more we went on, I was like, all right, I think I'm good on the breath. Like this is kind of going on for a while, and then she like said something like, keep breathing. No one's going to do it for you, keep breathing.
That's
and I was like, oh, okay. And I was just kind of all right, fine. Like, fairy goddess. Cause she looked like a fairy goddess in like a garden or something. I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep breathing. And so I kept going for it. And I was like, hopefully at the end of this uncomfortable journey, because it wasn't like, this is the most comfortable thing to do, right? Like the music got a little bit more intense. The like energy of the music was a little more triggering and like intense. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to keep going and keep going. And finally it was like, okay, now we can release. Now we can start breathing in this way. And then all of a sudden it was like the cavity of my like stomach, like the area right under my ribs, it all felt really open, like really, really open and heavy. Like there was like a pressing there, like it's like kind of felt like the way it felt when I was little and my little dog would like curl up in the small of my back and like sleep. And I'd be like, oh my God, what is that feeling? But like, it felt like this heaviness there. And it was like, almost like a baby laying on you. And as I had finished the breathing and we were in this really nice present place, I was also seeing the faces of my kids, and one at a time, they were kind of coming into view, and like, it was really emotional. And then I saw Eric's face, and just like, I felt this deep love. And like, then all of a sudden it was like this warmth next to me, and I was feeling the love from Teresa and our friend Olivia who were there. And so much so that I wanted to grab them and just hold on to them so tight, because I was so grateful for them. And just like that connection was really beautiful. And the breath was really hard, but the reward was amazing on the other side, and I think like when you go through things in life, like grief, loss, having pregnancy losses, or you're trying to conceive and it's taking a long time, or, you have things that are coming up at work, or relationships that are not in a good place, like, doing something like this is so healing, because you sort of get a deeper, I don't know, it's almost like you get to a more raw place inside of you where you can kind of see it all and feel it all. And like, I just felt like I was feeling all the things. So I was staring up at that gorgeous tree that Tez is talking about, and tears were just like kind of rolling down my cheeks. And I was like, not necessarily like crying for any sort of reason. It was just like very emotional, and I was thinking about just like all the things that we are looking forward to in our lives, but also it was just like in such a place of, I'm here right now. I'm present. I'm grateful. Like this love that's around me, and like what I'm feeling in the group. And people were going through a lot of really emotional things in their life. And I was just, personally, I was in this place of like so much gratitude and joy and love. And anyway, it was beautiful. And so, and
that's they're the sort of people that I want to surround myself with. It's like the people with that sort of expansiveness mindset. And I know I always feel my best after leaving a situation like that, where I'm like, oh my God, I was just around 20 other women who want to talk about this stuff and go deeper and have these real conversations and what it means to be a mother and to be a partner and to be a friend. And and sort of breaking down the old paradigm, like the old way of being, which I love tapping into what my patterns are, what my habits are, where I'm limited, and, what those limitations are, and how can I crack them open and start working on them and evolving to be the very best version of myself that I want to be. And then I get to model that for my children. Yeah. And we did something pretty cool the other day. So I always have my tarot cards out, and right now I have 4 decks. And my friend Daniel Ahern, who we are going to have on the podcast, who we always call, Mark and I always say, he's our spiritual guru. Like whenever we were having any sort of relationship issue in the past, I'd call Daniel and be like, hey, can I just talk this through with you? And he's so, I mean, he is someone who lives his magic in the day-to-day somehow, some way. So he has these incredible cards that he's created, a whole deck that he's created. I'm going to get some sent to you, Sarah. He's going to come on the podcast and talk about them. But I had all these decks out the other day because I was packing for my trip, and the kids were like, oh, can you pull me a card, Mum? Can you pull me a card? And I was like,
cute.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can pull you a card. And so what I did was I actually laid out all 4 decks and I spread all the cards out, and I was like, all right, why don't all 3 of you pick some cards, like pick 2 cards, whatever cards speak to you, really like look at them, and you can touch them if you want, and whatever the cards are that speak to you, pull them out. So Forest, I started with Forest, and he pulled 2 out, and then 1 fell out with one of them, like it was like jumped out at him.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I accidentally took 3. And I was like, no, this one sort of came and it's meant to be with you. So it's okay that you have 3 cards, and let's have a look at them. Earlier in the day, I was at Tail Waggers, which is, I was just getting stuff for my dog. So I was getting some food and whatever. And this song came on that I have not heard since I was like 17, and it was one of my favorite songs back in the day. And it was Foo Fighters' Learn to Fly.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was like, oh my God, singing to it really loud to Bodhi. And I was like, this will take all night. Anyway, I was singing it. And I was like, oh my God, this song brings me joy. I love this song. And Bodhi's like, who is this? And I was like, oh, it's this guy, Dave Grohl. And he used to be a drummer for this other band and blah, blah. Anyway, so I was telling him the story, and he'd never heard of the Foo Fighters. So then Forrest pulls a card from Angie's deck. And the song for the card is Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters.
Get out.
In her little book.
Oh my God.
And it happened the same day. And
that's
I was
crazy.
like, oh, what?
Wow.
The song is Learn to Fly? Like, I haven't even thought about this song in so long, and I just heard it that morning.
Yeah.
He pulls this card, and the whole card is about like leaning into, all right, there's something brewing in you. There's a feeling, there's an idea, there's a passion, there's something you're feeling excited about. So the song Learn to Fly is like jumping into that and learning about that new skill, that new thing. And Forrest has just said to us, hey, Mom, this is like a week earlier. He had said to me and Mark, not in front of Bodhi, like just wanted to come and tell us like, hey, Mom, I really love singing. I really love to sing. And I think I want to be a singer or an artist, but I think I want to do some singing lessons. And I was like, what?
Oh my God.
And me and Mark were like, I die. This is the cutest thing ever. Because it's not, people who know Folly, he's a little, like, he's more introverted, and to say something like that must be so deeply meaningful to him. And then that was the card he got about, run towards that thing that you're excited, run towards it.
That's so cool.
And then, so I was telling the story to all the kids, and Bodhi was like, that was the song you were singing? I was like, yes, that was the song I was singing to you in Tail Waggers this morning. He was like, this is real. This is real. How? I mean, that isn't a coincidence. This is real, Mom.
That's
and I was
so
like,
cute.
I know. And then he pulled a card, and it was the Chariot card, which is like it's in the Major Arcana, and he pulled it from the Kim Kranz, her tarot deck. And it's a Major Arcana, which actually I pulled when I was doing that crazy audition. And it's like, whenever you've needed the Chariot, which is like the confidence, the strength, the knowing, like when that shows up, that's the Chariot, and it's this image of a horse, and like lean on the Chariot. And Bodhi got that, and I had to go somewhere, and he was like, as I was leaving, he was running out the door being like, how do I get the Chariot? So when do I call on the Chariot? Is the Chariot just in there? And I was like, it's in there. Don't worry, Bodhi. It's in there.
That's so
the chariot will show up when it needs to show
me,
up.
Bodhi. That would be the same way where I'm like, wait, okay, great. What does this mean? How do I get it? Like, do I call it? And I'm like laying in bed, like, okay, the chariot. I need you, chariot.
The chariot. It was so cute. And I was like, I love that we are modeling this for our children and helping to cultivate an openness to this idea that life can't be measured, life can't just be observed. And all the things I've been talking about lately, like in our conversations, is there's just so much that defies logic that we will never understand. And this moment that we're in where science is catching up to magic, but it will never totally catch up. I mean, it's like the stuff that we don't know is, I mean, it's hard. You can't even fathom what it could possibly be. And I love that. And I think just having our kids be open to it is wonderful. And in a way that's different from how I was open to it. I was open to it like, this is the way, this is the only way, dogmatic beliefs, my Catholicism. I wasn't open to any other ideas. And this is kind of like, whoa, what is this? Who knows? What do you think it is, Bodhi? Poet, what do you think these feelings are? And do you believe that like the rabbits can represent this particular thing? And my kids love engaging in conversations like that. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that you would find that cute.
No, I'm so glad you did. We were driving to Teresa's house, and on our way, we were like, just like talking and listening to music in the car and whatever. And we were getting pretty close to where Eric works. So, you know, we were kind of talking about that. And as we were approaching the street, Wyatt saw this building and he was like, what's the Harbor building, Mom? And I like look over and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it's beautiful though, isn't it? And I was like, I don't think it has anything to do with the furniture store, you know, and we're just sort of like chatting about it. And so we like keep driving and I'm like, wave at Dad, you know, we're passing by Dad's work. And then we keep going towards like Teresa's house. Well, the next day I get a email about coming to this like callback, you know, and with producers and director and like everybody for this project, dream job project that I'm like obsessed with. That it's just like, you know, was one of those things that came to me where I read it and I was like, wow, this would be a dream. This is actually something I've been calling in, you know, and in
every aspect.
In every aspect. And then I end up getting this call back to go meet in person, which is, by the way, so rare these days, you guys, because
I'm scary.
Yeah. And it's like all these things, but I get this email and it's like, you're going to go like meet with them. And the location is the Harbor building. And it's like, it's like a giant picture of the building that I literally drove past
the day before
on the way to Teresa's, where Wyatt looked over and was like, Mom, what's the Harbor building? Like, it was so
not
weird. And I was like, talk about magical thinking. Like, I'm not going to overthink anything about that. I'm not going to sit here and think of all the reason why it means anything. To me, I'm letting all of that go. And I just am going, wow, that was a really cool hug from the universe. Like, hey, a good reminder. Here's a little like foreshadowing of tomorrow, you know, or something. Like it was just like a beautiful moment where I was like, oh, that's so cool. And some people like to call that coincidence. I like to say that's a hug from the universe.
Physics.
Yeah. Quantum physics.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like future Sarah who's already in the future being like, hey, this is going to happen and you're going to go to this building and just letting you know, like, let me give you a little sign. It's so trippy and wild and I love it. Because it feels validating and it's exciting. It's really
and you're just like, so wait, that's so crazy. I told Wyatt that and he was like, what? You know, we were both just like freaking out about the fact that it was like this, you know, this moment that was so cool. But anyway, so yeah, I love it. I love all the magical thinking and I love sharing it with the kids. And we've started, one more thing I want to share is that we started at night. You know, I kind of like talking to my team of light, to God, to the universe, to my dad. Like I like having a little session as I'm falling asleep. And I started to have this feeling that like Esme and Winter might like that too. And since we sleep in the same bed, but last night I heard Esme quietly talking to herself. And I was like, do you want to say some like prayers, or do you want to like have a little conversation with the, you know, the universe or God, or like, however, do you want to do that? You know? And she was just like, yeah, I was doing that. Yeah, I want to do that. And she was like, my prayer is, and she was like going through all her prayers. It was like such a sweet way of saying it.
Aww.
And it wasn't like asking for anything. It was more so like all the things she's like looking forward to with going back to school. And it's like all this gratitude for where she's at and what she has. And so then Winter was like doing her prayer, like my prayer is, you know, and she started doing hers, and it was really cute and funny. And, you know, and so then I did mine, and I went through like my gratitude list, which you guys know that I love to do. And that was a sweet thing too. I mean, I know in a lot of religions, prayer is a big part of like the nighttime routine and the morning routine.
That's right.
But you know, if you're not connected to that in any way, you can also just in a spiritual way, like connect in a way of like communicating with your team of light, or, you know, your loved ones, or however it is, or to your higher self, you know, just like having a moment of gratitude. And then, you know, and then I'm always like, how do I end it? And I'm, you know, used to say like, amen. And so
Amen.
I'm like, yeah, amen. Thank you.
Me
the
too.
end, you know, like
I used
Winter
to be
was
like, in
like,
the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit.
And Winter last night was like, the end, you know, it's just so cute.
That's cute. The end. And good night. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love this stuff. And I love
so
you.
Good.
And
I
our
love
friendship.
you too.
And all these things just light me up.
Me too. Same.
All right, Dazeys. Well, we love you. Thanks for joining us for another solo episode with me and Sarah. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, guys, you know what would be really helpful? If you could take like 2 minutes out to write us a review or leave us a rating. That is how our show gets out to the masses. The more you do that, the more the algorithm, I don't really know how it works because, again, I'm not very tech savvy, but I know it has something to do with the algorithm.
Yes.
More people get to discover our show.
It's true.
So that would be
huge.
So wonderful,
Yeah.
and it would be huge for us. And we are in deep gratitude. All right, guys, we love you, and see you next time. Bye.